Hey guys, welcome back. This is Lucid. We're jumping back into Bumble Rumble with Atlantis. One turn for you this episode, so it'll probably be a little quick. We have turn 16 in. So we are attacking the Amazons, which we've been kind of preparing for out of a bit of fear, if we're honest. And let's see. So we kind of went over the formation, which I'm kind of hoping these cavalry charge right into my Ichthids, which are mercenaries. So hopefully we throw some nets on them and then we eat them, which seems to be basically happening. Okay, now these guys, so if we look at it, these guys are pretty tough. This one's, is it harass still? No, it's routing, but it's -4. They have really, high defense. And high defense on units with shields is quite nice too, so they're pretty hard to kill, but you can see we killed them pretty quickly. These guys are not bad either, largely due to the fact they have a decent defense and then decent protection and a shield. But they don't hit for very hard. Just 12. So it's going to take quite a few hits for them to kill one of our Shamblers. And they have unfortunately blocked the Oriades, or the Jade Maidens. But you can see they are actually, these guys who have no armor, they are taking a fair amount of damage, and we may in fact lose them. We'll have to see. Because this squad of Ichthids is getting pretty close to the rout threshold. But we've caused a rout. I think we've lost a couple units. We'll see. Okay. So that is this battle. Yeah, we lost 10 Ichthids, so we got pretty close to the rout threshold. And then we did lose 2 Shambler Guards and a War Shambler, which, you know, I mean, this is a lot of Jade Amazon. So I'm okay with this trade. It would have been nice to not lose any of my real units, but such is life. And then here we are attacking the Triton Troopers in this farmland, or kelp forest if you're in the ocean. Okay, some of our guys are getting a little poisoned. We're killing them rather quickly. We have kind of long weapons too, so we shouldn't be taking that much poison damage. Okay, we lost one guy to poison. And I think that's it. So I think we lost 1 or 2. Oh crap, we lost way more than that. We lost 5. So yeah, our troops kind of suck. I mean, we brought like a ton of units. We still kind of got wrecked. Now, if we're a little more self-critical here, what could we have done in our formation? Like, the problem we have is there's nobody on this flank, and so these guys are kind of at a disadvantage. This is where we're going to lose troops if we lose any. Right here, you can see this guy's getting just wrecked. So probably having, and the guys on my backline obviously aren't doing anything, so I probably could have gone wider with a smaller contingent in the middle. So that, some of this is on me. I probably could have lost a few fewer troops. Okay, we found a magic site. We got a fire rift, which is 2 fire gems, which is really good. And we are a fire nation. We do have pretty good fire access. We have fire 2. Which Fire 2 is a little bit of a trick to get up higher than that, but it's possible. We can fire empower for not a horrendous amount. I forget what the costs are. 45 fire gems, so that's something we can do. And once we're at that, then we can do Summon Flame Spirit and stuff. The other option we have is we can wait till we get one of our boosters, like Sword of Many Colors or something like that. And then we can get up to Fire 3 with just that item. And then, anyway. So we have options, or we can just turn our Fire Gems into lanterns, which is something we're going to need. Because, yeah, we kind of have shitty research, if you didn't notice. Lanterns is not going to be super awesome on us, just because you usually want to put lanterns on, like, shitty mages that... yeah, that you don't really care if they die to horrors. We're going to care a lot if these guys die to horrors. So we have to figure out, when we get to the lantern phase, whether we're actually going to put them on Kings of the Deep, or whether we'll find a different home for them. Like, potentially, we just make super cheap, like, Initiates of the Deep on land, and they're our lantern holders. It takes usually about at least 2 years for a lantern to kill a mage, which is kind of a long time. But with the mage this good, you kind of care about that, actually. So, and they're slow to recruit, so yeah. Not super excited about the idea of putting lanterns on those guys, but... I think we could also turn them potentially into flame jellies. Yeah. Flame jellies are actually going to be very good, I think, against... That actually is not a horrible research target at all. Let me pause, and I'm going to just see what their stats are. Okay, welcome back. So, I just summoned one in a test game real quick so we can look at it, and then we'll go back. But, yeah, they have Blunt and Pierce Resistance, which I think is actually going to be pretty good against Pelagia. For a few reasons. One is their hoofs are blunt, and their spears are pierced, so we've got both those bases covered. I think they have spears. We'll double check in a minute. We have a Heat Aura, which is cool, kind of. And then we have Fire Shield, which is going to do 8 flame damage. And this is going to be armor piercing, so it is going to have to go through armor. But things that have hoofs are going to take a lot of damage from Fire Shield. So this is going to be pretty damn good for us. Especially early. So finding a Fire 2 site's pretty good. It will translate into... Just cast it again. Yeah, so 6 Fire Gems gives us 10. So it's almost 2 jellies per cast. 2 jellies per Fire Gem. Better if we cast it with a higher Fire Mage, but we don't really have those. So, anyway, that is going to definitely add up, and these guys are going to certainly be able to do a fair amount of damage. The other thing that's kind of nice, they have kind of shitty stats like low protection, low attack and defense. But in theory, if we get up to Alt 5, we can put Iron Warriors on a few of them, and these guys with Iron Warriors are going to they're going to be very, very bad for Pelagia to try to kill. Are they undisciplined? Oh, they're mindless. I don't know if are they undisciplined? No, they can take orders. So, yeah, they can hold an attack while they get buffed up. Yeah, and then this attack is actually pretty sick too, because it is Area of Effect 1. It does fire and poison damage. I'm asking right now on the forum how exactly a double damage type works. I don't know whether you have to pass both resistances to actually do damage. But importantly, it's Area of Effect 1, so it's going to ignore defense. It's just going to hit them, so the fact they have high defense isn't going to matter. They're basically... Now, if this goes through poison resistance, they have 15 poison resistance, so we'll be in trouble. And I think that's probably how it works. So this may or may not be very effective against them. Even if they have... Well, yeah. If it goes through poison first, then it's going to do 17 damage, but it's going to have 15 subtracted off of it, because they have 15 poison resistance, and then it's only going to be 2 left. So it's not going to do much that way. So it'll mostly probably be Fire Shield, but we'll see. They have a Heat Aura too, which is okay. So anyway, this is definitely not a bad way to spend Fire Gems early. Pause and go back to the game. And boom, we're back to the game. And in the meantime, somebody has answered, I think, we haven't tested it, but the consensus is that for like a dual-typed damage attack, like Flame Jelly Tentacles, you've got fire and poison, so it's going to pick one of those at random. So in our case, if we're attacking Pelagia, if we go with fire, it's going to do a crap ton of damage. It's going to do 17 armor-piercing damage, and which potentially we could buff up with Strength of Giants, because we may choose to research that. It's a pretty low target. We would probably want to get it after Conjuration so that our Earth Mages could cast it. But if we have that on our guys, it's going to be a lot of armor-piercing damage. So that's definitely an option for something we could do. And honestly, one guy... What am I at? 2? So we need a Sight Search Fire, which we're actually going to do... I really need to think about priorities here. I really want to get up to Conjuration 5. But So I think my priorities are right for research. Alt 5 is going to give me Iron Warriors, which is something Or Alt 4 is going to give me... I'm sorry. Temper Flesh and Body Ethereal, which is what I'm going to need next turn to kill. And you can see we're going to have that done next turn. So that's what I'm going to need next turn to kill the throne. After that, I need Conjuration 3, which is going to give me Flame Jellies if I need them. It's also going to give me... Summon Earth Power, which will be kind of nice, a bonus on my Pretender. Cave Crabs, which are not bad, but I have to find a cave. Krakens, which are not bad either. Certainly there are worse ways to drop water gems. I'll have to see if I think they're good against Pelagia. And... Sea Lions, which are Leocampus, which are not bad. I don't think I have enough nature. I think I'm not going to waste nature gems on that. I probably need to empower with my first set of nature gems. So, anyway, my crocodiles might be a horrible use either. Well, no, that's nature gem, so... it also gives us water power, which is going to be good for our water mages, potentially, and summon lesser water elementals, which are kind of okay. They're not nearly as good as their big brothers down here in Conjuration 5. So, anyway, that's Conjuration 3, then Construction 2, because I really want to put some items on my squid, on my octopus. Mr. Hands needs things to hold, so that's going to be okay. There's really a lot better things at Construction 4, but getting to Conjuration 5 is going to be a huge priority. It's going to unlock a ton of stuff. It's going to give us Voice of Tiamat, which is going to make our gem income go crazy. It's going to give us Contact Naiad, which if I do a nature empower on one of my water guys, and I'll have to think about which cross path I do. Well, I'll probably do it on the Astral cross path, water, Kings of Rain, because that will give me access to the... Well, I don't know. Actually, I have to really think about this hard, because on the other hand, I do have access, I think, to Jade Amazons now. And they can cast this without an empowerment if I give them 2 water boosters, which is probably what I want to do. So that's probably what I'm going to do instead, but that means I have to wait and go up Construction. That's probably okay. So it's got, Summon Water Elementals, which is huge. Like one of the best underwater spells you can cast. And then it's got Summon Monster Fish at 6, which is something I really want, and also Shark Attack at 6. So this is really a major milestone, and I think we're actually going to go ahead and reflect that and go for Conjuration 6. Which is kind of, it's a pretty big commitment going all the way to 6. I think when I have that, though, I don't think there's a way... The other thing is Monster Fish should just wallop the shit out of Pelagia. So, that's good. What size are these guys? I can't remember. They're size 4. That's kind of shitty. These guys are size 3. was trying to figure out if I kind of wanted them to stack in the same square. That way you can do buff cycles better. The nice thing about these guys is being size 3, you could potentially put 2 of them in a square. Like you could have the astral one and an earth one. If the earth one had boots, they could buff each other up. They could potentially be better underwater thugs. You just need twice as much gear, so probably not worth it. So anyway, yeah, we've looked at all the battles. We found a magic site, which was what got us started on this whole thing, the Fire Rift, and then we down here got 7 nature gems. So, what are our plans for this turn? Well, we had basically a few things. One thing is this Coral Queen is taking her army, and she's probably... We'll have to sort it out. She's... 1, 2... So we'll decide next turn. She's probably actually going to come up this way and go fight Pelagia. Now that said, I have a nap with Pelagia. So, in theory, when she gets here or here, probably when she gets here I need to send the nap breaking message. Or nap ending message, because I'm not going to break it. So anyway, we'll see. Right now, Pelagia is kind of overwhelming Rlyeh, but Rlyeh's making pretty good plays, I think, to stay in the game. Like, he's killed, I think I told you in the last episode, a few of the knights. Hasn't lost too much, but he's losing ground. But I need to figure out my timing. I don't want to leave Rlyeh hanging too long. But I don't want to attack Pelagia before I have a kind of overwhelming force. And also, after I take this, I am going to want to fort it. So I might want to fort it before... I may want to fort it and have it, like, the fort finish before I declare war. So, anyway, that's all something to consider. But so she's going to come up this way. All my dudes here are going to combine with Coral Queen here. We're going to actually have two Holy Threes in this army spamming out. Word of Power, which does paralyzation damage. Our Blessing actually is okay with this too, because it does give us Magic Pin, which is going to, it's going to increase the damage outlay from this a decent amount. So anyway, that's what we're doing here. And maybe, we should actually do Divine Blessing and then Serpent of Courage. And advance and cast spells. It's probably okay. Okay, so I think that is basically going to be the script. We've got these guys in attack rear. This is a bunch of archers, so we don't want them to be dilly-dallying around. We're doing attack rear because I want these guys to run straight forward. If you do attack closest, a lot of times they converge in towards the middle, which isn't really what we want, because we don't want them all shooting at me while we're attacking some of them. This is going to be a little dangerous. I'm glad we have 2 Holy Threes, because these Horse Tribe are kind of hard to hit, and they have lances and they're going to do a lot of damage. So we want to kill them pretty quickly. So anyway, that is what's going on here. Here we are getting set up to do... this is basically going to be the script that we run into the throne, except we're also going to have Body Ethereal, and this guy is going to cast Quickness on my Octopus, and then he's going to retreat. But this guy's going to do Iron Skin, Earth Might, Luck, Body Ethereal, Temper Flesh, and Attack. And with Quickness on him, he is going to just be murderously powerful. Now, you may say, why would we put Luck on this guy? And the answer, and I don't 100% know that it works, but the answer is in case I get Bleeding Affliction, which is kind of the worst ones you get. It's not technically an affliction, but if you get Profuse Bleeding, it's one of the ways your super combatant can die, and I think Luck might take care of a few of the ticks at the end. But I'm not sure. Iron Skin and Temper Flesh will both reduce the chances, I think, of me getting that Profuse Bleeding, which can kill me. But what's really going to help against that is getting a Ring of Regeneration, which I don't have yet. So anyway, I'm quite sure this will work. There's a chance when this guy retreats that he's going to die, but we will roll the dice there. But this army, after it comes up here, we're probably going to have it come down and take all this. And yeah, I think that's okay. Then we have to figure... So let's talk about the Diplo that's evolving. So Pelagia has attacked... Oh god, who's over here? 1 second, let me check. Okay, I went and looked kind of up some of the drama. So Pelagia had made somewhat of a nap with Ohm. So they were talking about it. And Ohm had said, hey Pelagia, do you want to agree on borders? And they discussed provinces and have a nap. And Pelagia said yes, after seeing the borders. But they never said what the terms of the nap would be, whether it would be a nap 1, a nap 2, or a nap 3. And from Pelagia's perspective, that means that they didn't finish negotiating. Now, of course, that's a bit shady, because when you agree to a nap, you need to... I mean, on one hand, a nap doesn't necessarily mean anything in and of itself, because all naps have terms. So the negotiation was not done. But when you say, like, I agree to that, it does imply something. But I'm not sure what. So, lesson for everyone is make sure you agree to terms on your nap if you think you have one. Because Pelagia decided to attack Ulm without any particular warning. And if it's a huge horde of White Centaur or something like that, then if that's still the unit that Pelagia gets, I'm not always sure in each age. Yeah. Then, Ulm's going to be in a lot of trouble. But we'll see. So Ulm is going to fight back, but I don't know how he's going to do. So anyway, potentially we could backstabby Pelagia. I don't see a particularly good reason for it. He can potentially come underwater and raid me too, because he has water mages and thugs. So I don't know if I want to play that game. But anyway, that is some of the evolving drama over here in this portion of the world. In this portion of the world, we have more drama, which is Phlegra, who is, I think, right around here, one of these provinces, is still at war with Pythium and Bandarlog. And Phlegra is the Formoria player from my Yomi game, so he has interesting ideas about things, and is a rather defensive player. And apparently he has mostly retreated inside a few of his forts while he waits for other people to kind of come to his aid. He has a Great Mother, or whatever you call them, the Earth Nature Trampler Pretender God chassis. And I imagine that with even just basic kit, that god can kill almost anything they're going to throw at it. The exception may be Hydras from Pythium. But yeah, so I don't know how this is going to play out, but basically he's getting ganged up on by 2, and he's kind of calling for allies. And honestly, that's not surprising to me at all. These guys make kind of natural allies. They're both kind of weaker in the early game, and so them confederating to attack somebody who can be much more terrifying, I think, than either of these nations in the mid-game makes a lot of sense to me. So we'll have to see how that plays out. All this land has been conquered. I would have loved to have got something on the coast, but honestly my expansion was just too bad to do that. If I had figured out expansion better, I think I probably would have gotten a larger stake on land, but I didn't, so that's that. Let's see if there's anything else in particular that we need to discuss. We've talked the preparation here. We'll talk recruitment real quick. We're trying to make one of these every turn. These are my best researchers because they're sacred. So they have reasonably low upkeep cost per year, 126, versus these guys who are 220, but they have the same amount of research. So we're going to try to keep this factory running and not stop producing these guys, hopefully for the rest of the game. We're also starting our first King of the Deep. I think I called him King of Rain earlier in the episode. Here, we would like to start, but we don't have enough money because we're putting up a fort here. We may be overbuilding a tiny bit. We'll have to see. I think what will have to happen, and I don't know if I like this, but I think this is a large province, which means it's going to have higher population, probably like 1,000. It's the type of province I would like to put an army in. I mean, a fort in. It would also just kind of help keep my dominion in this part of the world. Or maybe here, because it's got a lot of, 3 provinces it could suck resources from. So I'm not sure. I would like to do another fort, but I think if I put a fort here, and I have a fort here, and a fort here, and a fort here, I don't think I have enough income to feed all of them. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It may be that I do a fort down here later, but for the time being, I don't. I'm not really sure. Yeah, we'll have to see. What could be good, because honestly, I'd love to have the whole lake system. Pelagia, if we're looking at just targets. Pelagia, conquering him, and I don't know who else I would have to conquer. But I would get access to Ys, which is in this lake. Though I could also kind of do that. I don't know. It depends. If he wins this war against Ulm, then nobody's going to be able to. If he wins a war against Ulm, then this border is going to be very contentious, so it'll be difficult for me to get through. The other way I can get to the ocean systems is this way through Tianchi, or through Bandar. Pythium, who I was kind of thinking I wanted to attack, if Pythium loses the war, I would definitely want to raid this, and just have this as part of my empire, because it's kind of efficient in terms of border. I think it depends. I think my priorities are going to shift. I think right now, until I've conquered this whole lake, attacking Pelagia is not a priority, but once I have the lake captured, I think Pelagia is a big priority so that I can get into the other lake systems. And I think that if I get all the lake systems in this world, I've got a pretty good chance at winning the game. But that's obviously pretty far off. By pretty far off, I mean really far off. One nice thing too, and I'll just say this and we'll end the episode. When I take this throne, conquering it, I mean, I obviously don't know what throne it is, but there's a lot of good ones. This would be sick. This would be so sick. I wonder if the Throne of Water is more likely to spawn underwater. This would be nice. I would certainly like that on my bless. How many thrones are underwater? We have 1, 2, 3. I think it's just 3. Yeah. Yeah, just 3. So, I'm not sure which one this is, but yeah, and you can get really unlucky and get, at least I think you can. You can get something like this where you get to recruit the gnome underwater, but you can't because you're under freaking water. Anyway, I hope it's one of the... I hope it's this one. If it's this one, I would kind of die. It would be awesome. But yeah, so once I have this, it will spread Dominion, especially if I fort in template, which I plan on doing. And my Dominion is going to be key to winning my war against Pelagia. So, anyway, that's kind of the plan. I'm not sure if there's anything else for this turn. I don't think so. So, we'll see you guys next time.